Hey everybody, Long Distance Gamers here. I'm Brooks.
I'm Kitty.
And I'm Lizzy.
And we're a group of gamers that live in different states, but play remotely almost every day. I'll let Liz take it over with a little disclaimer for this video.
Yes, so our main audio went out again. If anyone knows anything about audio, tips.
And with that, we're going to jump over to our interview with the designer of Dawn on Titan, Bjorn Ekenberg.
We are LDG, and we were lucky enough to wrangle Bjorn, the designer of Dawn on Titan, in to talk with us again after our disastrous crash from our live playthrough the other day. Thank you so much, Bjorn, for coming back on with us.
Yes, it's
happy
so nice
to talk to you. I had such a good time the other night, so I'm happy to talk to you again.
It was a blast,
It was
and
so much fun.
even though Yoon was aggressive and came after us very much.
Hey, at least I tried to go after Yoon in return when he went after Bjorn.
So
Yeah, kept on hitting everybody.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Bjorn, we'd like to introduce you to Liz, the third part of LDG. She was unfortunately unable to join us for the playthrough, but she is here now.
Yes. Hi, Bjorn.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
Yes, perfect. It's such
So-
an exciting day. The first game that I released and the first Kickstarter for me, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
super exciting, and it's already doing really well for the first day. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. We're big space junkies, so we were very excited when we first saw this pop up. So
We were.
Yeah, and Kitty
And
and
I
I are
know-
huge war gamers. Light war games. Should specify that.
let's just start with asking you what your inspiration was in general for Dawn on Titan.
Well, the inspiration actually came from. I always wanted to make a space game, so I'm a big fan of science fiction, and I read a lot, watched a lot of movies, and I always want to make a space game. So, and this actually came from when I was a teenager, and I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I read about
Such a good book.
yeah, it really made an impression on me. And I read about the cricketers, the aliens living on a planet where it's constantly covered in clouds, so they can't see anything. So they think that they are alone in the universe. And then one day the spaceship crashes. So they repair it and they go out and they discover there is a lot of stuff other than their own planet. And it doesn't match with their religion, saying that it's just us. So they ask their priests, so what do we do? And they say, okay, we have to destroy everything because the religion is right. And
Wow.
the rest of the universe has to go. And I thought I've been thinking about that for, I want to make a game where you discover and you instantly just go to war. Nothing like talking to anybody, trying to learn anything, just go to war. So that was actually one of the design inspirations I had for this game.
Yeah, and that's great, and you can really feel it all the way through the game. I mean, it's got that sense of actually exploring something new. Everything needs to be explored, and you also have to kind of watch out for aggressors like Kitty and Yoon were. Liz, as normal, Kitty went right for the kill.
I
Makes sense.
Bjorn and I were trying to be passive, but it didn't work out.
I was trying to run away. It didn't work out.
I just talked a big game and then ran away also.
Right.
So,
Just trying to hide.
so it's super scientific. Also, we like how everything is really kind of rooted in reality with the orbits and the different, variable scientific specifications you have for the cards and everything like that. So what made you want to stick totally in reality and not just make up whatever you wanted?
Reality is such a great inspiration, and I was lucky to run into these guys at Iron Games that are really interested in history and science and trying to incorporate that into games. And I really want to make games that has a base in reality in some form, and to think about how do you say how do you make a picture of the reality? How do you incorporate reality into the game without making it just a simulation, but actually making it a game? For instance, the movement system, the closer to Saturn that you are, the faster you can move, because that's how you move in space. You move your rockets around, like slingshot them around.
Yeah, and slingshot back out into orbit. That was fun.
And I always love a game that's based in either historical fact or scientific fact, so I really appreciated that. And I was actually also wondering, since it's your first game on Kickstarter, correct? If you have any advice for new designers, or if you could talk about what you've learned so far?
Oh, I learned so much. When before this, I thought that when I made a game and it was ready, then it was like still a year of development. So that's one of the takeaways here. It's so much work making a game, and there's so much you can do when you develop it together with other people, and it really makes the game so much better. This game has actually been around for, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow!
Before meeting these guys, and I've been playtesting it at conventions, and it actually was a game design contest at one of the local game stores here in Stockholm. They arranged a game design contest, and so they had all these design limitations on, like, you had to use a deck of cards, you had to use like maximum 10 pieces, and so on. So all the moons and the spaces that you move on, they used to be normal playing cards that you were flipping to see what was underneath.
Oh wow! Kind of in like a rondel.
You were actually looking for the king and the queen and the knight in certain suites in this one. So that's the basis for the moons that you are like exploring and seeing what you can do with them. So it used to be something completely different.
Well, that works. I mean, humble beginnings. It certainly transformed into something that a lot of people, I think, are going to find accessible, because it's not super heavy and crunchy, but it also has a lot of strategy to it.
For sure.
We found Liz is really going to love the layers of strategy when we are able to play it with her finally.
I am looking forward to it. They will non-stop. They're just always talking about how great it was an experience with you.
Yes. I'm glad to hear.
It just felt like there were a lot of different play styles that you could take. For instance, like we keep mentioning, Yoon and Kitty were kind of more aggressive, whereas you and I kind of tried to build our, you tried to build your ship fleet, and I tried to build my resources and kept getting them taken away. And things like that. Liz?
You can also develop your weapon systems and be more effective when you fight. So there is actually a lot of things to do in this during those like 30, 60 minutes that you play.
Yeah, exactly. Upgrading those weapon systems really was something I didn't quite do as much as I should have.
Neither did I. Afterwards, I was like, okay, my main takeaway and advice for gamers later on would be upgrade your cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've actually tried that a few times when I played that. Just go for the upgrades, and it's actually it's not like overpowered strategy, but it adds another dimension to it, and you really like have control of the fights.
Yeah, it really did feel balanced all the way through.
It did, and that's so cool because you can try different strategies each game to add to like the variability of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Liz, I know you've got some questions. I'll stop talking for a minute.
You actually stole mine already. I was going to ask about the design process and the development process and what all you learned throughout.
Well, I was, like I said, this game has been around for a while, so it's been having, and I think this is a strength because it's been having a lot of iterations. I think this is like a 5th or the 6th reskin of the game, and it's been purely a science fiction game with aliens and space travel and time travel in one time, and it used to be also the pure exploration of cards and turning it over. So it's been a lot of these things, and I've taken away so much from the game. There is so much of things around it that I don't feel that I need in the game, but it's still there and accessible for expansions and accessible for just honing the mechanics, so to say, in this one. And when I met Bjorn and the team, I asked them if they wanted, because I was itching to get this published, because I think that all this was something that I could go to Kickstarter with. And I asked them if they wanted to do it together with me. And then we started developing, and then I realized I would never have been able to do this alone, or like with a team on my own, on my spare time, because these guys are so professional, and Madeleine with her art and the way she brings everything to life in the game and makes it look pretty also, I think that's amazing. Like the characters she has made for the game. This just used to be faceless corporations. There was no people in the game when I was working with it.
Yeah, I know that, and I'll let Liz speak on this because this is one of the main things we like to talk about, but diversity in gaming. Liz, if you want to take over how passionate we are about that.
Yeah, it's one of the main things we focus on. My boyfriend's mixed, and through that I have also been exposed to the worst side of the white superiority power thing. And it's made me even more determined to try to understand the minorities and others' representation throughout the games and how important that is.
Yeah, for sure. And when we saw the characters, I mean, there's you have two female characters, and you have one that's kind of, gender non-androgynous, gender non-conforming, and then, the colors aren't specifically gendered, and then you have just variety of races. It's really great. We love to see that incorporated into games. It's very important to kind of see yourself in the game that you're playing. So we always think that's great.
And we were so thrilled with Madeleine's artwork.
Oh, it's fantastic.
All 4 characters. They're great. In the expansion that you have coming out, are there any new characters or any new information you can give us about that? I just saw that on the Kickstarter this morning.
I'm very excited about aliens. I like that sound of that.
Yeah, this is actually the alien technology expansion. And I've been working for that recently. And the setting for this is that you're not just looking for resources and colonization. You actually have discovered there are some kind of anomalies around Saturn, and you need to go and see what they are. So it's actually things that have been left by the aliens. So you will not meet the aliens in this expansion, but if this goes well, there will maybe the aliens will arrive in Saturn eventually.
That's great. That's awesome.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
You said about the diversity, and I'm really happy that you see this, because this is important for us at ION to have to be inclusive and to portray different aspects and different people and different voices. I think this also comes from a pure design perspective. For us, it's really important who you are in the game. Who are you as a player? You have to feel that you're connected to the game. You can do that in many forms, like adding reality and basing the game on real people and real events. But you can also do it with what we talked about, that you can actually find yourself and play as the character you feel that you are, or maybe you want to try to play as something that you are not.
That's
fantastic.
Yeah, and I just have to say another thing we really liked, Brooksby and I'm sure Lizzy, when you get to play it too, is we just felt like, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but a lot of times, a lot of games, we're both part of the LGBT community. So a lot of games, sometimes the artwork seems like very just, presumed to be straight. And we kind of almost felt like these people, like we could envision our own sexuality, preferences, things like that in them. I think you agreed with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's nice to not have the cookie cutter kind of what you're used to seeing in a lot of games, unfortunately. But it's getting a lot better. So it was just nice to see right off the bat, not having to wait for a specific character expansion that included the diversity after the fact. It was nice just to see it from the get-go, and then
and feel like you could project yourself onto them.
Exactly.
Yeah, happy that you like it.
Yeah. So speaking of the Kickstarter, we'll let this be the final question. What do you think was the most stressful part of the Kickstarter in general, or the design process in general?
The turning point for me was actually the when I reached the point in the game that I felt it's not perfect. I haven't solved all the things in the game, but everything has a solution. There are no loose ends in the game anymore. So everything is tied together, and maybe it's not like the ultimate solution for me right at that point, but that when I felt that, I even remembered it was like a Tuesday, late at night Tuesday, when I suddenly realized that everything fits together. And then I was like, now I can start to work. Now I can actually find the perfect solutions for all the problems that I have. So I've listed all the problems and all the things that are in the game, and that was an amazing feeling. And that is also like a big step for me as a designer. The first time that I actually felt that this actually works for real.
Yeah, feeling all the pieces come together, I bet.
Yeah. That was an amazing. But everything up until that was the super stressful time.
Well, we certainly really love the game. Liz is super excited to play it. We keep talking about it. Does anyone have any final questions?
I'm good.
I think that about covered it.
I think we've kept you up long enough. I think it's time to finally let you go to bed.
After 3-hour playthrough and then this
and an exhausting Kickstarter kickoff. So
I can imagine.
Thank you so much, Bjorn, for taking the time, and say hello to Yoon for us.
Yes.
I will. Yeah.
Thank you so
much.
Yes, thank you, and you have a good rest.
Yes, get some sleep.
I will. Actually. I had a bottle of beer in the. I'll open that one.
Perfect.
That sounds delightful.
Waiting until after this meeting.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Bjorn.
Yeah. Take care, and thank you for talking to me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that was Bjorn Ekenberg, designer of Dawn on Titan. That was a really awesome conversation, actually.
That was amazing. I really want to actually meet him in person.
I mean, when game gatherings becomes a thing again, and conventions and stuff.
And I mean, during our playthrough with them, it felt like we'd known them for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
It just felt so natural.
We
Jealous.
Yeah, sorry, Liz. We also played with Yoon, the developer.
He was great.
He was wonderful also. Hilarious to play with. We give each other a lot of crap, which is good because it makes us feel right at home, especially when playing games with Liz.
Yeah, they both reminded us of just the three of us in terms of how they played the game. Like,
Liz, don't sit there and look innocent.
I am a perfect angel when we play. I am never mean or cruel or take that.
It's weird. That halo is propped up with horns.
Put a disclaimer on the bottom.
No, there's no halo. I'm looking at the video right now. There's no halo. Or horns, to be clear.
Mm-hmm. So we're really excited. It's on Kickstarter right now, actually. It's got great the components have great quality. The gameplay is slick. It's kind of a mix between an accessible kind of entry-level game and then has the Euro layers of strategy.
Yeah, and kind of a nice little entry level to like a war game kind of, and a cool space theme that we got to learn even more about during the interview. So
exactly, and a diverse cast of characters, which, as Liz stated, was so important to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in today's world, it's almost a necessity for gamers and publishers to realize that it's needed.
Absolutely, as it should be.
And I remember when we were playing with Yoon, he said, it's just as easy as having the entire cast be white straight men, for example.
Exactly.
That's a paraphrase, but yeah. So I think
it's just as easy to make it diverse as it is to just not. So why not always make it diverse? So that's why we always like to ask that question, because it's so important to us as a group. So from gameplay to artwork to the designer and the developer themselves, just super friendly, super great experience. You can actually catch us playing it in a couple days probably. So we'll have a video up about that.
Coming to a YouTube near you.
Liz, you want to take us out?
Have fun and be you. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you.